He'll take you to places you will be like, wow, I never even knew that existed here in New York City. And here he is, Peter Franklin. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning, live from the beautiful streets of New York.
We were just talking about this story that seems to float upstate every once in a while, and that is that upstate would detach itself from downstate and New York City. We'd become our own state. Does that ever get covered, and what's the reaction of New Yorkers?
No, it really isn't. It's kind of like silly. Every once in a while you hear Staten Island is going to become a city by itself.
Yeah.
That's a bunch of nonsense. We don't want to lose you people. We love you people. We want to keep you people.
And we look at it that's where all the tax base is. We not only want to keep you, but we need you. Without your money, we'd be lost.
That's right. Mutual Admiration Society.
What do you think of being a taxi guy? New York State and the governor's plan to make backseat passengers required to wear seatbelts.
Anytime you do something that's for the safety, there's nothing wrong about it. It's no big deal. I mean, it just has never ceased to amaze me that there's so many situations that really saves lives, saves injuries.
Yeah.
When you have the seatbelts on in the front, putting them on in the back is no big deal. And most people are pretty obedient about it. I mean, when you get into the cab and if somebody is sitting in the front seat, the right front seat, you tell them to put the seatbelt on. They do, so it's not going to be a problem. It's going to probably sell a lot of seatbelts.
If they're sitting in the front and they don't have their seatbelt on, you could be ticketed, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I have an ejection seat.
You do.
I press a button and they go like in a James Bond
boom,
car.
They're gone.
They're right out.
I like it. You need that. I think you do. I was intrigued by this headline. Want a free vacation in New York City? Visit us and get arrested for something and then sue.
Yes, right. Sue. And it's just absolutely, I listed it on the website, Gabby.com, some of the lawsuits that the city has. So, of course, I'm being a sarcastic wise guy when I say come to New York City and get a free vacation. But if you look at the list of the lawsuits that the city has to deal with, it's just unbelievable. Trip and fall and all these kinds of things.
Yeah.
It's just millions and millions and millions of dollars. So I'm not seriously suggesting it, of course, but being a little bit of a wise guy, come here, sue us, make a lot of money.
I was intrigued by the 72 lawsuits were filed for citing retaliation for recording. So somebody was maybe taping them on a cell phone, and the cops retaliated. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, no, but you don't fool around with cops. I think, basically speaking, New York City has very good police department, very good police officers. They're sophisticated, urbane, and charming, and all that. But when a cop tells you to do something, you do it. If you want to get even with him for something or other, you do that tomorrow at the office. But you don't do it on site. Yeah.
There is a story out there that shows police in a bad light. Drivers did not know where to find their vanished cars. Neighbors in Upper Manhattan were blasting NYPD for towing their cars to make room for what?
For game. It's a cops and firemen game that they have. In the northern end of Manhattan, there's something called Baker's Field that's actually connected to Columbia University. It's their athletic field. And so the cops and the firemen were having a sporting event. And what the cops did, I mean, it's an unbelievable story. I'm listening to myself tell the story, and I don't believe it, yet I know it is true. The cops went over there, towed cars that were legally parked in the area away from their spots. Just moved them to another spot. Didn't give them tickets or anything, but just moved them. And then they parked their own cars in those spots.
I can see why people would be complaining about that. And what is the latest on El Chapo? He has been convicted, but now what does that mean? And what do you think of the jury?
Well, they got big mouths. I mean, they broke the law as it is, or at least they disregarded the judge's instructions. He, of course, and anybody's ever seen a judge or a trial movie knows that the judge says you're not supposed to talk about the case and blah, 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 blah. Well, the jurors, it turns out, did, and read papers and did this and did that, and then they gave interviews to the press saying that they did do it. So there's a possibility the judge, guy's named Kogan, could really have a mistrial, which means it's like $1 million or so, maybe more, down the toilet in terms of the course of the trial, and they'd have to have another one.
Wow.
And if you do something bad, sometimes you should keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, you're probably better off. And this week looks like it's going to be one of the warmest days of the late winter, early spring in New York City. Temperatures by Thursday, they believe, will be up into the 60s. It's going to be a heat wave in New York City.
Yeah, well, listen, one of the nicest things about, and you guys have a similar type of weather,
Yep.
that having the 4 seasons, just about the time that you've had it with a particular season, it's been too hot, it's been too cold, the season changed. So, we've had it with the winter. It's time to get some nice weather, and the whole rhythm of the city changes. Everybody starts doing everything outside in the parks, the beaches, which is similar to you guys.
It is the best tour in New York City. It really is. Peter Franklin will take you to places you don't even know exist. And you learn about stuff. You go to lunch. You go to dinner, the whole 9 yards. Go to Gabby.com for details. We are actually setting up our very own tour that is going to happen here in 2019. Peter will be in touch real soon on that.
You got it, sweetheart.
Right.
Thank
Thanks so
you.
much.
Bye-bye.
Peter Franklin, and you can go to Gabby.com. He talks to radio stations all over the world several times a day. He is the great communicator from New York City. And we are working on that tour. We'll give you details coming up in the next couple of weeks on that.